All right, you guys, welcome to class one of landscape painting from beginning to end. This is the first time I have taught a course under this name, and it came about because of past classes and having students suggest that maybe we slow down a little bit. I was in the habit of having students do a painting every week. And I think a lot of people just felt like they were just starting over and over and over and never really getting a chance to finish paintings. And this will allow me the opportunity to kind of show you guys what all is involved with a more thought out, complete painting. But don't worry, we're going to keep it fresh and loose and everything else. If you saw my email this morning, I talked about the three things we're going to cover today, which is structure and spontaneity, practice and play, and rules and tools, or rules versus tools. And so we will be covering all of those different things today. I'm going to start by showing how I pick an image, and we're going to do that together. Then I'll show you some ways that I edit it. I'll be using Photoshop, which I know most people don't really have any longer, but any photo editing software, including your phone, is completely fine. Another way that a lot of people can do the editing is simply by doing printouts and cutting the paper. But how do we decide on our picture, especially when you want to spend some time with it, maybe do something a little larger, a little more involved? The final hour of the class, though, I'm going to be covering spontaneity and basically just kind of having fun, attacking the canvas and playing, so that we know that it's both sides. Neither is wrong and neither one is right. And if you're anything like me at all, which is a little bit ADHD, I need to bounce back and forth. I get bored. If I'm doing a picture like the one behind me back here of the vineyards, let's see if I can show it a little better there. That painting, that's a print of it, but the original is actually a 6 foot by 4 foot painting. And with those rows and all the information, it's very technical and takes a long time. And I want to make sure that my proportions and my perspective and everything else is correct. So I spend a lot more time with that. But I also very much enjoy just kind of stepping up to the canvas and seeing what happens, having that conversation with the paint and playing. And so I will bounce back and forth between structure and spontaneity often. In fact, when I'm doing those large, really involved structured paintings, I will oftentimes reward myself with a day well done by playing at the end. That's a way I'll use my extra paint or use old canvases that are, less than successful paintings. I'll just kind of paint over those. And sometimes those ones that are just play end up some of my very favorite paintings. But then when I'm doing things for, let's say, a very specific show, a theme, or I do a lot of commission work for different buildings, for different clients, do a lot of work with vineyards, then I can't just attack the canvas, or I could, I guess, but my odds of it working out in the end go down substantially. And so I've figured out kind of a structure that works for me. I'm going to share that with you guys, and we're going to be going over it throughout all 6 weeks. And what I'm going to urge is that you look at what I've written down, and I'll share the story behind how that came to be, and make it your own. Completely figure out what way of working increases the odds of having a successful painting. If you've painted at all, you know that there's no guarantees, right? I always say painting is like fishing, right? You can go out with all the right equipment on the perfect day, and it could even be a stocked lake, and you're still not guaranteed. But there's definitely ways we can increase our odds of catching a good fish or making a good painting. Yeah. So, and I will be talking about that. So anybody have questions? Is that kind of what you have in mind signing up for this class and what you're looking for a little bit?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Perfect, perfect. So, some parts of it are going to be a little more left brain, or some parts of this process are going to be a little more right brained. And if you're, again, anything like me, I've got the hippie on one side and the businessman on the other, and somewhere in between, they need to relate to each other and work together. They don't always, but it's sure nice when they do. And so, yeah, that is what we're going to be talking about. Let's jump back a quick heartbeat. And I just want to double check that everybody's getting my emails. I mean, I guess if you're here, you've gotten my.
Yeah.
Okay, great. If you need me to change your email address or anything, please just let me know and I can do that. All these classes are going to be recorded. I will try to stop the video at least once during it, kind of halftime, so that you're not having to watch a 3-hour video, that you can watch the beginning and the end. The great thing about teaching over Zoom versus being in person, which I fought doing, I've talked to a couple of you guys in person before and told you this, is that, in the beginning, before when COVID first started, I just stopped teaching completely. If it wasn't in person, it was not at all. I just lost my camera. There we go. And just I couldn't visualize how teaching over video could be useful or applicable to people. But once I started teaching over Zoom, I was amazed at how much fun I was having. For one, I wasn't driving an hour in and out of Portland. I wasn't loading up a giant bin and carrying all the equipment that I thought I would have. And of course, always forgetting something. Sometimes paint thinner, sometimes white paint, sometimes my references. And then the other really neat thing is that you're in my studio with me, right? I can actually pick up the camera, move around. I've got another camera set up behind me so that we can jump back and forth from, you guys seeing my face here on the screen to seeing what I'm doing on the easel. And another part that I really like is when you guys start asking amazing questions, which you will inevitably, I can usually respond because I will have all my books. I have all my paintings here. I've got all sorts of things that I can share, and we can really, I've got my whole studio here. In fact, I have 2 studios here. There's one on the other side of this wall. I've completely taken over the upstairs of my home. Very nice wife. And the last part of it that is so phenomenal, and I know that a couple of you are going to take advantage of this today, is that if you're not able to be here for all 3 hours, because I know that's a long time, that's a big commitment, and other things get in the way, and life, or travel, or all the different things, is they're recorded. And you can go back and watch them at your convenience. I will keep them available for at least 1 year. I'll be sharing them over YouTube, so you guys I'll be sharing those links. It usually takes me about a full day to get them from the cloud, which is where they're recorded for OSA, Oregon Society of Artists, or Oregon School of Art, whichever one you want to call it. And then I get them onto my computer, and then I download them onto YouTube, and then I share those links with you. So be a little bit patient with me getting all that done. But the neat thing is that you're not expected to paint during class if you don't want to. I know a number of students will be doing sketches and different things like that and you're more than welcome to do as much or as little during the class time as you would like. But I do have a lot of students that really feel like this is my time to listen, write notes. This is my time to observe and ask questions. And then when you have the time in between our Wednesday sessions, you can go back and watch the video. You can pause it. You can fast forward through the boring parts like now. You can do whatever you want. You can rewind and go, what was it that Michael was saying there? And then the neat thing too, and I've had so many students say this, is that they'll come back a week or 2 after class and rewatch some of the earlier videos and let me know, I really get it now. Like, this makes so much more sense because we're only able to learn, in a systematic order and as, a certain amount of information at a time. So I just think the ability to go back, watch, rewatch, fast forward, pause, and all of that is phenomenal. The other thing, last thing is I used to teach these classes using Facebook groups, which was cumbersome. I know a lot of people aren't happy with or don't love Facebook, or maybe not even signed up for a Facebook. And I completely appreciate that. So once I discovered Padlet, which I hope everybody raising hands, everybody's been able to get into it. Yeah. Shauna, Lisa, I know you can. Sherry B, have you had an opportunity to get in there? Just a thumbs up or thumbs down will do, or, unless you want it a little bit. Okay, we'll look at that a little bit, and I can help you in between classes. Or if you have any questions, Sherry, you are muted still. So if you push your space bar.
Got it.
There you go.
Okay. Right. No, I haven't seen your, you sent an email this morning and I haven't checked that out. I got into Padlet, but I didn't know how to interface it. Once I would get into Padlet, I couldn't connect it with what you had sent. So I didn't really understand like why, if I just go in with your link and then I'm in Padlet versus having my own account. So anyway, I'll check your email. Maybe that clarifies it, because when I went into Padlet, I couldn't find you anywhere. I didn't know, was I supposed to be able to link to you from my account? So anyway, that's all.
You know what, Sherry, while we're on this subject, I'm going to go ahead and ask people, because I am noticing that about half of the people are it says anonymous when they post, and the other people have their name. So the people that have their name associated with what they're sharing on Padlet, can you tell us? Because I've never done it. I've always been the instructor. I've never been the student. So how,
Michael, if you create an account, it will show your name. So I would suggest to people that they go in, create an account, but then use Michael's link to enter it after you've created your account, and it should show your name at that point. When I go on my Padlet, both our Maestrius group and this group and his groups are on there.
That's what didn't work.
It's pretty straightforward.
The link,
but
that didn't work for me, so
they're not communicating.
That didn't work for me. The link between Michael and my account. So I'll just go in and work with it and figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get it worked out, Sherry. Anybody else having issues? Donna, I didn't know if you raised your hand, if you got it going. Great. Oh, yeah, I see you posting on there. Great.
I got it going.
Yeah,
I mean, I made an account and I see your link and it just called me Tamara J3 and I saw your link, but I don't know how to use it, but I know I'll figure it out. So
okie doke. And Lisa,
just a quick question. And hi, nice to see you. Are past Padlets available on that or not?
they should all be still valid. Yes, I went ahead and paid for it so that I have I can I think like 100 Padlet groups going, and so yeah, for past classes they should be available. And Lisa, I think I responded to your email with the links to those.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
It's a little tricky when you're doing it. I've got it on my phone, and once I made an account, then I was able to go back but I had to poke around a little bit, and eventually I got to where I could see your stuff, Michael. So it does work. It just
not as straightforward as we would hope.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I think we've always got the excuse of computers are weird and internet is weird and technology is weird. So don't give up. We'll make it work, and there's no huge rush. Yes, Michelle.
Yeah, I was just going to say that when you resent that to me or told me to take the B off the end of the link that I copied, then I could see it right away. So this new link today, or that you sent today, I think, was perfect, and it just popped right up for me.
Thank you. Good. I'm glad. Yeah. I apologize for that whole first email. It was chock-a-block full of grammatical and spelling errors. I am very dyslexic. You will see a lot of funny grammar from me in writing, but I do typically try to proof check everything. And that one got sent. My daughter was shaming me because I had her on the phone while I was doing everything. She's like, you never put in the send to before the message is complete and proof checked. So I will do better in the future, and hopefully, no promises. Anyways, great. So another point about this class is the typical classes through OSA are 2 hours long. My classes are 3 hours for a couple reasons. For one, you're going to see I talk a lot. I love tangents. I love answering your questions and deep diving into things that aren't on our curriculum. And the other thing is I love this sense of community. I'm a very social person working in an exceptionally unsocial job. It's just me. I used to share my studio back here with my daughter, but she just left to go to Boston go to college. Yeah, we're all happy, but I'm sad as well because it's a lot more empty in here. And so I do use this time a little bit as therapy. I mean, social time, because I love talking about art. I just love it. I love thinking about and talking and sharing and hearing your guys' insights. So by adding that whole other hour, I hope you guys aren't offended that I ask you guys to be a part of this class. I ask you to give me your insights, your feedback, to ask questions. And I really love the sense of community that does develop slowly over the weeks. I want you guys to get to know each other. I want you guys to give feedback on our Padlet page. I want as much connection and community as you guys want to have or give in the group. I know that a number of students throughout the years have actually become good friends. Some are out painting together now. And I just think that's fantastic. Mary, your cat is lovely.
I find that very refreshing.
Good. So yeah, just know that we're not cutting into your class time when we're talking, because I have added that third hour. And for the students that have been with me, I already see Phyllis nodding. She already knows what I'm going to say. My classes sometimes go to 4 hours. And that's just because I just get so excited, and I just want to keep painting and keep sharing and, whatever else is going on. So that's another reason that the classes are recorded, is so you can go, Mike, 3 hours was plenty. I'm out. I'll be back later. Yeah. That is that. Does that make sense for everybody, and everybody's okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I know there's going to be a lot of new friendships built here. We've got a nice, good sized class. I do know that, in the first day, everybody will show up and be present, but I've already heard from a number of you that there's trips planned, there are hospital visits planned, and lots of other activities. So I do know that the class size will go down on Zoom, and I'm expecting that, and I don't take it personally at all. And I want you to know that that's completely fine. If you want to send me an email, if you know that you're not going to be present, you can, especially if you have any questions that you'd like me to answer so that you can hear them on the recording. That's completely fine. Great. All right, I'm going to go ahead and, oh yes, Sherry.
And I have a problem with hearing, and I just hope people remember to stay muted when you're talking, so there's not background noise, because sometimes that's hard for me. So I know it's kind of hard, because I do that sometimes. I unmute and I forget to, but really when you have hearing problems, it's kind of,
100%. And if anybody has a barking dog or a barking husband or barking children, please make sure you do. I know that, we've got a lot of construction going on in our neighborhood, so it gets kind of noisy out there. I just make sure I shut all the windows. But yes, staying muted if you're not talking is great. I mean, because we never know when the phone might ring or doorbell or whatever else. So yeah. And Lisa, I saw you raise your hand again.
Where am I? I lost.
We hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks. Sorry. There we are. I was just gonna say there's a caption option on Zoom as well. So if it's hard to hear, you can turn captions on. They're not perfect, but they will run during the meeting if you need them or want them.
Perfect. And we also have the chat option at the bottom of the screen. So I do know a lot of people will have little side conversations on chat, especially if you're sharing like email links or website links or different things like that. You can definitely use that. Or if you, I mean, feel free to have side conversations about, how is your dog doing? Oh, I hope he's, recovering nicely, all those things. You can definitely have that on the chat. So feel free. And I'm always surprised because I don't see the chat a lot of the time when I'm standing at the easel. So I'm always surprised when the class is over and people have had really nice long conversations on the side. I think that's wonderful. Any other questions? Yes, Tamara.
My Zoom thing is acting very different today than what it normally was. I've only got partial of a screen and I had to go set up a brand new account. So I'm a little confused, but if I want to mute myself on my computer screen, is that the microphone thingy down at the bottom of the, whatever that is, the toolbar? Is that the mute button?
I believe that's true. Yes.
Okay.
The other
all right.
option, did you say you're on your computer?
I'm on my computer, yes.
Try pushing the space bar. Nope. Okay. So if you do push the mute button, the microphone, if you want to talk just for a quick minute, you can actually just hold your space bar down and talk during that. And then it will automatically remute you once you let up the space bar. At least that's how it used to be. I don't know.
Okay.
It's been a couple months since I thought.
I see a mute button down at the bottom of the screen now. The screen's just very different from what it usually is when I do Zoom, but okay, I've got it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And Tamara, up in the top right corner again is the view button.
Yeah.
And there at the bottom of that is a full screen.
Holy cow.
Look how beautiful we all are in full screen.
So, okay. Wow. Thank you.
Great. All right. Well, I do want to get to know everybody, but we're not going to do it all at one time. Otherwise, that would take our entire 3 hours. So let me pop over. I'm going to do share screen, and we are going to pop over to our Padlet page so we can begin to discuss what we got going on there. So everybody can see our beautiful purple Padlet page there.
Yeah.
All right, great. So I'll just describe really quickly here. So video recordings on the left here is just any things you guys want to share or I want to share from YouTube or anything else. But that's also where I will have our class recordings. I will send out an email to, just like I have with the other things, with the links to the YouTube. So you can go and directly watch them on YouTube. But if you're having a hard time, or if you maybe delete the email, you're also going to be able to find them placed under video recordings. So this quickly describes the Padlet page. This is a good friend of mine, Eric Bowman. We are big collectors of his work, and I feel very smart for having started collecting his work a long time ago because he just sold a painting for $80,000. So I think our collecting days may be done. Yeah, our family consensus, if our house ever catches on fire, our first item to grab is not the cat. It is one of his big, beautiful paintings. I'm guessing the cat will make it out on his own. But yeah, I just love his work. He has changed to Western paintings in the last couple of years. And he's just blown up since doing that. We have a lot of his jazz and musician series. But anyways, this video is very short. I think it's 8 minutes, and it's about his new show going on. But what's really neat is I've been friends with Eric for a long time and always just admired his work ethic and all of the things that he does behind the scenes. And it will show him doing lots of drawings, these little color studies, and all the different pieces that go into his finished work. And it's not how I based this class by any means, but when I watched it, I was like, oh, that's a great example of kind of some of the processes we're going to be discussing in this class. So if you'd like to watch that, you can. The one underneath that is just a lesson or a quick 1 hour video that I did with Eric Rhodes of Plein Air Magazine. And I do a painting there. Underneath that is one of my very favorite musicians, Ludovico Iannati, an Italian composer. I just adore his music and I listen to it at least weekly. And I paint to it often. It just, when I started listening to the music that felt like the paintings I wanted to create, things really changed in my work. I used to listen to a lot of rock and roll, a lot of loud music, or a lot of audiobooks. And I found that my brain just was fighting itself. So by listening to wordless, beautiful, serene music, I was really able to focus better. On this whole class, you guys, I will be discussing things that work for me. And we're going to be talking about that, rules versus tools. So a lot of these things, you're just going to go, yeah, I'm fine. I can listen to my heavy metal and paint beautiful paintings all day long. But for some of you, maybe some of these things will be useful for you. Underneath that is a little wiping away tonalist painting where I did 3 paintings all at the same time. And underneath that is just about how to clean your palette, a little trick there using rubbing alcohol to clean the oil paints off your palette. Notes and handouts. So there it just kind of discusses what we're talking about. This is the handout that we are going to be going over. And in fact, this will kind of be kind of the rough outline for the entire class. So that is also in your emails. That was attached to the email that I sent today. So you can print that out if you like. And I also hope that maybe you will just copy and paste it into a Word document and change any of these to be your own. I want you guys to make your own personal steps to building a successful foundation in painting as we progress. So you're going to get opportunities to test some of these tools that I'll be presenting, and an opportunity to change them as you see fit. Under that is just so that we are all on the same time. That's the color wheel thing that I've built, and we'll be doing a color class in the winter. So if anybody likes to join us, it's always a ton of fun. I love using a lot of color in the winter. I am kind of known as a tonalist. So I still keep a lot of my work more on the tonal side, but I really like the combination of tonalism and luminism. In fact, I call my new work Illuminated Tones. Thank you, students from previous classes, for helping me come up with that name and description of what that means. Some quotes, some little inspiration, and then there's just some handouts. These are from previous classes, other classes, and I just thought for some of you, they may be interesting. Atmospheric perspective, always really great perspective there. We'll talk about this in class, the 4 values within landscape painting. I think we all like to overly complicate. This is all borrowed from John F. Carlson's book on landscape painting. So I don't get credit for any of this, but I hopefully made it a little more presentable. This should go over here. So let me just show you. This was in the wrong spot. This is actually a video. And you just see how I just grabbed the top of that. So I'll just put it back. I just grab it or click on it, and I could literally move it around. So I'm just going to move it over here under videos. And that's just a quick little demo of, I don't even know what it is. Anyways, there's the supply list if anybody is interested in that. I want you to know I don't have a supply list for the acrylic painters in the group, but you can definitely use find most of these colors in acrylics if you want to. This is just suggested. In fact, I know you can find all these colors in acrylics because I bought them all, and then my daughter took them all to college. So I'll have to rebuy the acrylic set. This is something we're also going to be using in this class a lot, this handout. Maybe I'll move these towards the top. And this is a little checklist that I use, get rid of that self-critique there, that I use at the beginning and sometimes at the middle and hopefully at the end of my painting. And I don't always fill them out, but I definitely read through it and think about it as I'm starting my paintings. And this is just another way to just kind of make sure I've got my ducks in a row, that I'm thinking the right way. And maybe not when I'm doing the spontaneous paintings, but when I'm doing things that are a little more involved, I definitely am thinking about all of these different things. We'll talk about that more.
Quick question, if I may.
Please.
So those printouts that you just showed us, do we need to go to Padlet to get those, or are those in the email that you sent to us this morning?
I did send them to your email.
Okay, great.
It's definitely easier, I find, to print from email than it is from Padlet. But let's say, Tamara, thank you. That's a great question. Let's say that you already deleted the email or whatever. You can go again over to the right side of the Padlet, and there's the right, left, I don't know what this even means, text panel, and the three dots, always the three dots, I guess. And then in here is a download attachment button. So from here, I can do it, and it will let me download it right to my desktop. And you can rename it something that's more memorable, or, Michael Orwick's class handout number 1, or whatever it is. And you can put it wherever you'd like on your desktop to print from. So yes, and that's going to become useful too when looking at the reference photos. So great question, Tamara. Thank you. And then I just have some more handouts, some more inspirational stuff. This is actually the most popular post I ever made on Facebook, so I just made a little poster of it. It's kind of stupid and cutesy, but that's actually me painting there, pretending that I'm painting 2 paintings there, and it's 10 steps to becoming a better painter. And the truth is, this is silly, but it's very, very true, that no matter how much you attend my classes and keep paying me to be your instructor, you're actually not going to progress if you don't paint. So 10 steps to becoming a better painter. Number 1, paint. Number 2, paint more. Number 3, paint even more. Number 4, paint even more than that. Number 5, paint when you don't want to. 6, paint when you do. 7, paint when you have something to say. 8, paint when you don't. 9, paint every day. 10, keep painting. I plagiarize that. That's normally for writers, actually. It's a credo for writers, so we just changed it to painting. Little plagiarism on my part there. These are some of my favorite handouts from a book by John F. Carlson's book on landscape painting. Basically, I saved you $15 because these 5 pages here are the whole reason to buy the book. Not really. There's a lot of good information in there, but it's a very strange and hard to read book, in my opinion. More handouts. Here is about those split primary colors. So if you saw my shopping list, I suggest 2 reds, 2 yellows, and 2 blues. They're not exactly these colors that are on this list, but you'll notice I don't usually suggest an orange, a green, or a purple, or even browns, because with these split primary palettes, we can make, with 6 split primary colors, we can make thousands and hundreds of thousands of colors. So I like to kind of keep things simple where I can. Painting is already difficult enough. Anyways, I don't need to go through all this. You guys can look at this. And here's just a photo of kind of my paints kind of laid out there. Great. This is the one that's the most fun for, or useful for some students. Where's that little guy? Let's go all the way to the top. This is reference photos. Okay. I've posted a bunch of my own photos, and I stole 2 photos from one of our students, Linda Camarada. Am I saying your last name, Linda, right? All right. Guess that's how we say it. Anyways, and you guys are welcome to use these. If you enter any paintings done from my paintings to a competition, just send me all your money when you sell it or win. Just kidding. All you have to do is write based on a photo by Michael Orwick with permission. Okay. I want you guys to enter competitions. I want you to win competitions. I want you to sell paintings and keep paying for courses. I want you guys to, but I also want you to paint from your own paintings. Of course I do. but I put a bunch up just to save time. This is a picture of my horse, I guess. In Montana, I buy horses, and my sister and her family train them. They also train 19 or 20 other horses at a time and have about 1,000 cows as well. So they're quite busy. But I buy these horses called Norwegian fjord horses, which look like historic horses. You notice it has mohawk. They also have striped legs, which is really weird. I just think they're amazing, and they're like the golden retrievers of horses. They're just super friendly and docile. But I really like this photo. I've never painted it. It's very odd with the horse all the way to the left, and I've constantly wanted to paint it, but I've never quite liked the clouds. These clouds are very centered, and there's a number of things going wrong in it. So this morning when I was going through, I saw Linda's gorgeous sky picture that she posted and wanted to share with you guys. And I was like, man, maybe that, right? Wouldn't that look cool behind this horse possibly?
Hey,
And
Mike, I
Yep.
saw that picture of the horse that you put on there, and I want to do that one.
Good. I was almost thinking, man, this might be a fun one as a group, even though we're not, if anybody else, maybe I'll do that one. Especially
If we
since
have a comment or something, should we say it at the time we have it or hold it?
No, you can feel free to jump in. If it gets too cumbersome, of course, we can streamline
Okay.
things. And if you have comments
You,
about the painting, you could just go,
okay.
nice.
The one you just showed us, the one about and it's odd because usually when I do Zoom, I can see myself, not that I have to, so I'm not sure that, but anyhow, what you just said about the horse painting, that photograph to me just pulled me in right away. And I love the clouds and I love the horses to the side. And I know part of the thing about the rules, and like you're saying, tools, not rules, is, something dead center, that's a no-no. And it's like, I'm immediately drawn to that. And that's part of what pulls me in about the paintings are the clouds. And I really don't give a hoot that they're dead center because there's white there. And it's like, visually, I just think that's such a gorgeous, gorgeous painting. And I like it as it is. I wouldn't want to move the clouds. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's what's so fantastic about this is, again, the rules versus tools. I try my darndest to not teach rules. You'll catch me. I'll say them, but just know that I try to say guidelines. And even more now, I try to say tools, just different ways of thinking and approaching paintings. There's different design aspects that when we're kind of getting ourselves into knots, sometimes we can just go back to some of the guidelines and they'll work out. Other times, breaking the rules or guidelines or tools, whatever, completely, having that horse all the way on the left, in fact, going out of the scene, feels like it should be wrong. But when you look at the picture, it feels right. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes having the horizon line right in the middle, sometimes having things dead center. My wife and I, our bedroom is filled with icons that we collect when we travel around Eastern Europe and stuff and South America. We're not Catholic, but we love iconography. And that's always dead center. So I oftentimes will say when I'm finding myself putting something in the middle, is this an icon that I'm painting? Like we have beautiful Mount Hood here near where I live, and it's our big mountain. It's, it is an icon. It's an icon of Portland. It's an icon of Oregon. And putting it in the middle, just knowing that I'm painting an icon can totally work. So yeah, great point. And I appreciate that, Tamara. And we'll be coming back to all that. But anyways, under here are just tons and tons. I just kept loading pictures. You'll see some of them. This is a reference that I used in the last class I taught. This was an in-person one, and this was a view right at the bottom of the hill of the Sitka Center out along the Oregon coast. And I just had the students do this as our first painting exercise because it represents the 4 values in landscape painting. It's also fairly simplistic with just a couple big items. Of course, there's a whole lot of detail, but if we squint our eyes and simplify it, it really breaks down nicely. And also, I oftentimes will paint from a black and white as opposed to a color painting because I actually don't love these colors. The camera is always going to blow out certain colors. These blues are really, really intense. For some people, that might be very exciting and really make them want to paint that. But for me, I don't prefer that, those colors. So by changing it to black and white, I still get my design. I'm feel free to change things, and I can make up my color. So we'll be talking about that. You'll see that from time to time when I'm posting a picture. I just did, oh, where'd that go? Huh, okay, well, that one is a PSD, so it's not showing up the same. Let's just go to here. This is a painting that I just did for a hospital fundraiser. Anyways, I'll talk about this painting, and this is one that I would like to do very big. But I did a lot of changes. I actually added the ocean off to the right. I built a trail kind of going up the hillside, a lot of different things. Lots and lots and lots of photos. So if you're ever having a hard time picking a picture, or you don't want to waste the time going through all your photos and just want to get into a picture, feel free to borrow any of these. This is one I want to talk about today. A lot of times when I'm taking photos, this is a beautiful view from the Oregon coast. Can't remember the name of the town right now, but a lot of times when I'm taking photos, I'm looking at the beautiful clouds, or I'm looking at these interesting silhouettes of trees, or how the light is blasting across, catching the atmosphere and being, warmed up against these rocks, or look at these neat waves. And a lot of times I'll take those individual photos, I'll zoom in and take the pictures of the things that I think I want to paint. And then oftentimes I will zoom out and capture everything. And I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. I've already got it loaded into Photoshop. And a lot of times, even a photo like this, I can see 3-4 different paintings in here that might be worth visiting. And on and on it goes, forever and ever and ever. In fact, here's some pictures that I took with our buddy Shanik, who's here in the class. His family and our family got to go to India together and see a lot of neat things. So these are some pictures from India, pictures from our trip to Italy, all sorts of stuff. There's Mount Hood there, the icon that I was talking about. So if you see any of these that you would really, really like me to paint, so maybe do a paint along, let me know. This was just taken a couple weeks ago. I've also got some on here where I'm showing different camera tricks that I'm doing. This wasn't so hazy as it appears. I actually have my sunglasses in front of my camera, and I've blown steam fog onto the lens of the sunglasses to create this hazy effect, which I really like, and kind of gives this interesting tonalist kind of feel to it. Same thing I did with these stairs. I thought the stairs would be more mysterious if I, and this time I just breathed directly onto the camera and let it be a little foggy. I just thought there was something kind of interesting there. You can see a number of them that I did that to. Here's some where I've already adjusted them in Photoshop. I really wanted these to be cooler than everything else, a little different color. And for those of you who are interested in tonalism, I can talk a little bit about, in future classes about some of the different tricks and things I use both within the camera and on Photoshop. Like here's the original. Here's my version of it. And then I've painted this painting twice. More Italy, on and on it goes. So tons of stuff. So just be aware. The other thing, you guys, is if you have any really cool or interesting photos that you want to share, please just share them in there, and we can, if you're willing to let other people paint from them. A lot of these are things I've just grabbed off the internet, so I wouldn't share those because I don't have permission to, paint from them or but I sure like maybe little bits of the references here, but I'll just share a foggy one here. So it's just that easy. Boom. This is another picture, and it'll pop at the top. The other part that I want you guys to be involved with is artists we admire painting examples. Okay. I've put a couple here. Edward Seago is one of my favorite go-to painters for minimalism. I just saw this painting on our trip to Boston when we were dropping our daughter off. This has been a painting that has been one of my favorites since I was in college. I had no idea it was at the Boston Art Museum, and was so surprised to walk around the corner and run into it. And you can definitely see some of the influences on my work within this painting by Child Hassam. But anyways, there's a lot of work, a lot of different paintings here that other students have added to, which is fantastic. And what this does is it allows for me to see paintings that are exciting to you, and maybe some directions you might be interested in going in. When you're starting out painting, I actually suggest looking at a lot of work, maybe picking out your top couple favorite painters or maybe top couple paintings, and beginning to kind of look at them and decide what is it about it that you like so much, and start to use some of that in your painting. For some of you who are a little more experimental with your work, I suggest that you check out this guy's work, Bato. He just blows my mind. I love his work so much. But I don't know if I'll ever paint like him because it's so impressionist, so abstract, and so loose. But he brings me utter joy when I see his work. Anyways, lots of stuff there. So feel free to share. And it doesn't just have to be fine art painters. You saw in there a couple illustrators. I've had students in the past add cartoon artists and different animators that they really like in different styles. So whatever it is you like. And last but not least, you guys. All right, all this awesome stuff that you guys are sharing already. I really appreciate it. This is your opportunity to introduce yourself, to share any of your work. Also, this is where we will be sharing the work we're doing in class. I don't only want to see finished paintings. I want to see your thought process and your paintings in the middle as well, because I find that getting feedback during the painting process is a lot more useful than getting feedback at the very end when we've already told our brain that we're done and we're no longer taking advice. Thank you very much. So it is, I think, really great. And I very much urge you guys, again, you'll see here, let's go ahead and go over to Gail's gorgeous painting over here. I can simply, by just going to add a comment, just going, fantastic, A plus, A equal A plus. And then I could give a little bit of feedback. I don't know. I don't have any feedback right now, but if I wanted to write anything, I would just write, my feedback here. And send. And now it is there for Gail to see, for other people to comment. I love the painting as well, Gail, but I disagree with Michael's feedback, and I think what you're doing is fantastic. Or maybe if you added a little more or a little less of this. So I love seeing the conversations that go on underneath our artwork. So please, please, please be involved. And this is a great way to keep things going in between our Wednesday classes. Everybody understand that and what we'll be doing here?
Yes.
Okay, so there you go. I did a little introduction here. Michelle, I posted a couple of your pictures from previous. I hope that's okay. And a couple others, I think, for people. Any questions on Padlet, folks?
This may seem like a dumb question, but for some reason, on my computer, I couldn't scroll left and right. On my phone, I can. Is that the scroll bar right there, the purple? Okay. For some reason, I didn't see it on my computer.
Yeah, I've had other people say that. And I have had to shut it down and pop it back up. I've had entire sections that just showed up as blank sometimes. So I don't know. Technology, man. It's weird.
I have a question.
Please, Donna.
Oh, that was somebody else, but I have a question also, but let her go first.
Hi, do we need Indian yellow?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, is there an equivalent? Is there an equivalent? I have lots of different yellows, but not Indian yellow.
Not really. Indian yellow is a weird magic color. It is, to me, the color of light. If we look at some of my paintings really quickly here, where am I? Normally I put myself at the front, but I figured I will just go in alphabetical order with everybody else. So these are good examples. These are, and I'm going to do it today. So this is Indian yellow as the base color.
Right. I figured it was something like that.
Yeah, it's a crazy, weird color. I used to not use it in my teaching because it's so strange and it does such weird things, how it mixes with other colors. But it's become such a part of my work. And I don't believe in having any secrets from you guys. But you can see Indian yellow in a almost stupidly large amount of my paintings. So yeah, Indian yellow is in all of these, oftentimes in the background. This one I glazed over the top with Indian yellow just to warm areas back up. Yeah, unfortunately, this painting just got lost in UPS, lost it in the mail.
Oh my.
I don't know how you lose a 4-foot painting,
Oh my God.
but they did.
And then also, as far as sizes of, I know you gave some smaller sizes for like learning, but if, you know, if we wanted to do a bigger size, any suggestions, like a 16 by 20, not good. I'm a portrait painter, so I have a lot of like 16 by 20s and things like that. But is there another size that's bigger if we want to do a bigger painting? And
no, that's a great question, Leslie. So with most of my classes where I'm having you guys paint a painting every week, you know, a 16 by 20 can become really daunting for a lot of people. And a lot of people can approach an 8 by 10 fearlessly. And then all of a sudden a 16 by 20 or bigger just terrorizes them. But no, this class, again, we're going to slow it down. We're going to, you know, we're going to have a good idea of what we're going to be painting before we even start painting. So I'm planning on doing a 30 by 40 during the class. You know, if you want to go big, go big. I want you guys to be comfortable. This class is definitely different than my typical class. In fact, if you guys hate this class, you can blame it on Michelle Fritzler. This class is mostly her idea. So I'm glad she signed up, so we can all blame it on her.
I have a question.
The sizes are like 6. Okay, what I mean, because landscape sizes are different than other sizes. So, anything in between.
No,
like
any size you have, any size you want. If you literally are just like, you know what, it's time to replace that picture behind the couch, those old tired dogs playing poker. Let's get rid of that, and let's paint something that matches the couch. And I've always wanted to paint from my trip in Italy. It's time, you know, I've got the time. Michael's challenging me, he's giving me the tools, and let's do it. Let's challenge ourselves. So if you feel like going big, no size is out. Yesterday I went and bought 4 24 by 24s. You know, so square format. I love 1 by 3 formats, like 12 by 36s. So I paint all formats.
Okay.
And we're going to let the image dictate that. We're going to let the what fits best behind the couch dictate that, whatever it is. There is no I want everybody doing what they want, and we're going to have the opportunity to really work out our ideas and decide what's going to work best. You know, is this picture going to look better as a little gem that's, you know, maybe sitting right above the coffee table, you know, against the wall? Or is this a piece that says, you know what, look at me, like this one I painted as a 12 by 12 initially, which I really enjoyed and actually won a big award. But this is a 24 by 24 because I was so thrilled with it. And I thought the piece just wanted more attention. You know, if you're going to paint something that's this neon, you may as well have it, you know, demand a little bit of space. Whereas some other paintings, you know, like this little guy here, I think was probably an 8 by 10. And it's just a quiet little quick painting that I did literally using just my leftover paint on the palette. I just liked the colors that I had on the palette. And at the very end of the day, I just like, oh, you know what? Those colors there and that little corner of my palette they really work together, and there's a nice subtle harmony to them. So I just knocked this out. This would have been the play versus the practice part of my painting. But I'm still always practicing, even within play. I'm practicing brushwork. I'm practicing, you know, different things. So, yeah. Oh, here's a big one of Indian yellow, right?
Yeah, look at that.
Lots of Indian yellow. So
one of the quick questions. So, like, do you like to have the canvases toned, or do you don't have to do that ahead of time or anything? Like,
so like this one was untoned because I wanted some of the transparent areas. So if you leave the canvas white and you like to work like in translucent layers, like I do sometimes, then the white of the canvas actually will act as a reflector of the light. So the light actually goes through those translucent layers of paint, hits that white canvas, and reflects back. So in sometimes that's fantastic. In that painting that I showed, well, here's a good example. This painting has, I left this area white and quite light. And then the other area I painted really quite dark and then came back over it with light paint. So where I wanted it to feel like it was glowing from behind more, I left. And you can see that I started glazing in with transparent layers. If we could zoom in, that's the only problem with, gonna let me zoom in? Nope. Anyways, there are transparent layers, whereas in the other parts of the painting, it's all quite opaque, meaning thick and not transparent. And so, when deciding on a painting, just same thing with that big one there, there's areas where I wanted it to be very, very glowy and feel like the light was coming from back there. And other areas where I wanted it to feel heavy and opaque and like it's sucking up light and, emitting just only the little bit of information that's showing in the shadows. So I do both. And the more I play with it, Leslie, the more I'm learning when to use it and when to step away from it. I do typically tone my canvases, and I'll talk about that today as well.
I have
Okay.
a real quick question.
Of course, Donna.
How do you delete? I can't see real well, but so where do you click on for Padlet to delete entries?
Sure. So the edit button does not do it. It seems like,
Okay.
oh, maybe it does. There's a remove button there. I'm just noticing. But the
Okay.
edit button was like, now I'm really excited to see you guys. Very, very excited. So update that. But if we want to delete this, I would just click those, always those three dots. Those are pretty much where everything hides. And down at the bottom, it's a delete post.
Okay.
But let's just pretend again that I accidentally posted that under Phyllis's name, and obviously this is not Phyllis, and nor does she want to look like that. So I can just quickly just drag it and put it back where I wanted it under Megan's area instead.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So that's another thing that's so great about this. The other thing is that your posts go in order of what you put them. When we were doing the Facebook groups, Facebook would decide which ones was the most popular and which ones we would see and put those at the top. So we were always hunting, always looking, spending hours, I posted, I'm sure of it, and it would get way down at the bottom. So anyways, Padlet, fantastic, love it. It's the best thing I've found so far for doing this kind of a group and sharing. If anybody has other ideas, please let me know, but so far that's the best.
I have a quick question. How do you add the photograph?
Okay, great question. Thank you, Mary. Let's put a picture under your name really quick.
And I'm working with an iPad. I can take pictures.
Yeah, that's great. So you're just gonna click the plus button.
Uh-huh.
And then you can go to this, take a photo.
Ah, okay.
I typically
Okay.
take the photo first on your iPad and edit it, get it so it's not showing all the background and maybe you need to do a little bit of adjusting. So then I go to this picture, upload a file. This is on my computer. So I could just you can see that I have a whole folder of just references, which I've categorized under skies, tonal landscapes, Savi Island, Palm Springs, so whatever. So let's just say I want to share a picture from
But I have to upload
this
it.
beautiful creek off of Highway 26 going to the coast. I stop there all the time because I just find it to be unbelievably gorgeous. And let's say I want to share a picture from there. So I'm just going to look for one really quickly, and I'm going to pick, for no reason, this one. So then all of a sudden it starts loading. You can see 81%. There it is. I can say whatever I want. Photo from Highway 26. Publish. And there it is, Mary, under your section.
Ah, okay.
And let's say, oh gosh, look at me. Butterfingers, I accidentally put under Mary's. I meant to put that over here under photo references. All the way. I'm just going to keep scrolling, keep scrolling, keep scrolling. And let's just tack it under there. And when I go back to the top, in theory, it should be there, but I guess I just put it back wherever I dropped it. So never mind.
You
It didn't go in order. So
Thank
if
you.
I would go to the top to put it at the top. So I apologize for that.
Mhm.
And because I'm not positive this is actually one of my photos, I am going to delete it. There we go. Back to the horse. Great. Any other questions about this?
Yeah, quickly. Do you see my name up there? I created an account. I don't see my name on the Padlet thing.
So I put them alphabetically.
Oh,
by-
okay,
by,
okay,
by first name. So
okay.
you get to go all
Oh, I'm
the way-
there. Okay, all right. All right,
Yep.
sorry, just didn't know
No,
for sure. Okay,
100%. This is
Okay.
yeah, no
Thank-
bad questions, folks. No bad questions. Anybody else have any questions? All right, I'm gonna do a stop share. And we are back. See if I can bring my camera back up. Huh, why does it keep dropping it? And oh, not even seeing that camera. All right, well, I'm going to use this opportunity to take a break. So we have been going for 1 hour. I appreciate this. I'm going to stop the video. That way that the first video that I'll post will be just, behind the scenes, how the class is organized. And what we're going to do next after a 5-10 minute break here, after we get some fresh coffee, and we are going to come back and we're going to pick a picture together. And I'm going to show you some ways that I go through thinking about different pictures. So I'm going to see you guys let's come back at about 10:45. How's that sound?
But Michael, if we leave the group, the recording will still be there for us, correct?
Can you